On entertainment tonight.
This is the CBS Evening News. Dan Rather reporting. Good evening. No launch for Space Shuttle Atlantis today. Possible engine pump and fuel line problem just before blastoff. NASA officials now say it will be Monday at the earliest, or as much as a week, before they can find it, fix it, and try to get this mission off. A mission featuring the first U.S. deep space exploration project in more than a decade, the Magellan radar mapper to explore the planet Venus. Our CBS News veteran space program correspondent Bruce Hall is at the Kennedy Space Center tonight.
You got to go at this time to pick up the count.
The weather was ideal, and the countdown was proceeding smoothly until it hit the 31-second mark.
We're going to have to recommend a recycle here. It looks like the pump is actually down.
The countdown was stopped while the launch director sought more information. But with a launch window of only 23 minutes, NASA quickly ran out of time.
At this time, the decision has been to scrub for today.
The problem was isolated in the engine cooling system. Computers noticed an electrical surge to a pump that circulates cold hydrogen through main engine number 1. The surge blew a circuit breaker, and it shut off the pump, stopping the flow of hydrogen. Engineers also spotted a vapor cloud that indicates excess gas was escaping from a vent in the system.
If the problem with the recirculation pump is the pump itself, which is in the aft fuselage mounted near the engine, so that job in itself would take us well into next week.
At the Magellan Control Center at the Jet Propulsion Laboratory in California, engineers were dejected but philosophical.
Better safe than sorry. Better safe than sorry, especially in light of the Challenger accident. You know, want to make sure they do everything right.
The delay was also frustrating to scientists who've been trying to get the Magellan probe to Venus launched aboard the shuttle for 3 years.
For deep space missions like Magellan, one doesn't need the shuttle. It doesn't add any extra capability, except maybe in the rare case of having to bring the payload back. This could have gone on an expendable vehicle. It could have gone, in fact, 2 years ago.
It was also a disappointment for the 5 astronauts who saw a perfect countdown dissolved into another delay, something that has plagued the shuttle program from the beginning.
The earliest the shuttle could be launched would be Monday afternoon, but officials say it could be delayed for up to a week. NASA officials hope they will be able to make a final decision this weekend. Bruce Hall, CBS News at the Kennedy Space Center.
President Bush said yes late this afternoon to the FSX jet fighter deal with the Japanese, the joint development and production of a Japanese version of the U.S. F-16 jet. Concerns have been expressed that this deal amounts to handing over U.S. jobs and U.S. technology secrets to the Japanese. President Bush said today that he is now satisfied with Japanese assurances on all scores. Meantime, the Bush administration today formally accused Japan and 33 other nations of setting up significant trade barriers against U.S. products. The list of offenders required under last year's Trade Act includes most of the United States' leading allies. This is the first step in drawing up a hit list or return fire list of countries that will be targeted for tougher trade negotiations to remove trade barriers against U.S. products. A recession just ahead, or a so-called soft landing, which would mean a slowdown that doesn't end the economic expansion. Those are the terms of renewed debate by analysts tonight in the wake of the latest government report on the future of the economy. Correspondent Bob Fall reports today's index of leading indicators offers a mixed message.
The numbers prove what a lot of merchants already knew, that consumers are wary and spending is sluggish.
Everything's higher. Gas is higher, electricity's higher, meat's higher, toilet paper's higher, everything's higher.
The purchase of durable goods, so-called big-ticket items like stoves, actually plunged 1.5%.
I've noticed when I go to the market, everything that I get has gone up.
The March numbers seem shocking, the sharpest one-month drop since July, down 0.7 of 1 point, more than double the 0.3 drop in February. It was the first back-to-back monthly decline in 15 months, but economists argue the numbers are not as bad as they sound.
There's nothing alarming in these numbers. It does suggest the economy is losing steam, and it's losing steam mainly because of tighter credit conditions and higher interest rates.
Some are offering up to $5,000 minimum trade allowance.
Detroit felt the slowdown despite various new incentive programs. March new car sales were flat. In fact, 9 of 11 categories in the index fell, led by a big drop in building permits. Housing experts say there is good news in all this for home buyers.
Interest rates are likely to go up from here, not very much more, and we could very well see lower interest rates this time next year.
The Bush administration says all this proves the Federal Reserve Board's policies to curb inflation are starting to bear fruit but will not trigger a recession. Yes, one economist agreed, the economy is on a magic carpet ride. The problem, he went on, is that no one knows when we're going to fall off. Dan?
Thank you, Bob. A different kind of economic slowdown is in the news tonight, and as Scott Pelley reports now, it is producing a belt-tightening among those who can least afford it.
Too often, 3-year-old Tamika McCook goes to bed hungry.
Your food ran out today.
Yeah. The family's food stamps ran out. Her mother, Mary, has been out of work 6 weeks. Now, she's going through a familiar ritual, asking for help from an Austin food bank. Mary McCook did receive some food, but not enough. The bank itself is starved for donations, not from individuals, but from corporate America. All across the country, company contributions to food banks are shrinking.
Here's the groceries.
They're getting greater and greater pressure to add to the bottom line, that they don't have the time to focus on donations, and this is definitely having an impact on our operations.
Corporate donations are off 30% in the warehouses of Second Harvest, the largest volunteer food distributor in the nation. Stockholder pressure to maximize profits has made many corporations less generous.
Hostile takeovers, mergers and acquisitions, all of these factors put enormous pressures on corporations.
When Primerica Corporation was taken over last December, the staff of its charitable foundation was fired. Donations to hunger and nutrition projects went from $350,000 a year to zero. A company spokesman says the firm is reassessing the direction of its giving. Takeovers on a small scale have an impact too. Donations here at the Central Food Bank in Austin dropped significantly when a local grocery store chain merged and the new out-of-state owners decided to stop giving. Now, a warehouse once full is half empty. Ledgers show more need than supply. What will you run out of today?
Well, dairy products, we have almost no milk right now at all. I don't know that we have any meat at all.
At Tamika's house, lunch was hot dogs, canned green beans, and rice from the food bank. Later, there will be dinner for her 3 brothers and sisters when they return from school. But the rules say Mary McCook can't go back to the food bank for 6 months. There is too little to go around.
Sometimes they ask for a lot more. I say, there's no more, I just gotta wait.
The commitment, the kind of lack of focus is the thing that we're worried about. And if it's a short-term phenomena, fine. If it's a longer-term phenomena, I think we all have reason to be concerned.
At least 20 million Americans depend on some kind of free food, either from the government or from private agencies. Today, food bank officials fear a fat bottom line will mean a leaner table. Scott Pelley, CBS News, Austin.
And still ahead on the Friday CBS Evening News, correspondent Bob McNamara on one farmer's distant dream of putting an end to pesticide pollution. And David Browning on an immigrant's dream come true, all 500 acres of it.
On this job, it doesn't take long to get a pounding headache. Even when the noise stops, I can still feel it drilling away up here. For headaches, I used to take aspirin or Tylenol, but today I take Advil. See, Advil's strong. Just one Advil is as effective as 2 regular-strength Tylenol. And Advil doesn't upset my stomach the way aspirin can. Advil gets rid of my tough headache so I can give everything to the job. Advil, tablets and caplets, advanced medicine for pain.
Never thought it'd work. Send everybody from the plant to school, give us union guys a say in running things. Look, 1 million cars from right here. Wasn't easy. But I figure GM customers are getting some of the best built cars in America from these guys. So, I guess it is working.
The UAW GM Training Partnership is now the largest private educational program in the world.
What a
relief. The doctor said no surgery for my hemorrhoids.
That's great.
Yeah, they're not that serious. He said use Preparation H.
You can often relieve pain and itch for hours and help shrink swelling of inflamed hemorrhoidal tissues with Preparation H. Also a new cream.
Feel your oats with Post Oat Flakes. Feel your oats with Post Oat Flakes. Golden toasted flakes with whole grain oat nutrition and a crunchy oat taste. Feel your oats with Post Oat Flakes.
Family planning groups tonight are praising a recommendation by a government advisory committee for approval of a long-lasting birth control device. It will be months before this device could be marketed, and there are troubling possible side effects. But Mark Phillips reports tests so far are at least mildly encouraging.
This is not a birth control pill for women to take. It's one they would implant under the skin and leave there for 5 years. The FDA is being urged to approve a method that involves implanting 6 matchstick-shaped capsules in the arm of the woman. Inserted in a fan-like pattern, the capsules gradually give off a hormone preventing pregnancy.
It's the first real new development we've had in 20 years in birth control.
The conclusion of the FDA Advisory Committee is that the implants work. They have been tested on 2,400 women in the United States, and the method is already being used by thousands of women in Europe and Africa.
And over 5 full years of use, the pregnancy rates have been equivalent to those of oral contraceptives in the first year of use.
That makes them at least 99% effective, but there are side effects. The hormone used is a synthetic progestin, and there are concerns about weight gain, mood swings, and other symptoms.
Irregular menstrual periods. Some women would go for a long time without bleeding at all, and others would have spotting.
But the implant method has some significant advantages over the pill. Because the hormone is introduced continuously, the dosage in the bloodstream at any one time is much lower. And those who have taken part in the test say it could become the contraceptive of choice.
It's convenient. I don't have to think about taking any pills. I don't have to worry about anything because I know I'm protected.
Unlike sterilization, the process is reversible. The implants can be removed and the woman able to conceive again within a couple of days. The method has one major limitation. It's less effective on heavier women, particularly those who weigh more than 150 pounds. Doctors caution this new method is promising, but not perfect.
There is no such thing as a perfect contraceptive at this point. There are women who find unsatisfactory every method that's currently available.
Barring any contradictory new evidence, the FDA could approve the implants within a year. It could take the drug industry about 6 months after that to put them on the market. Mark Phillips, CBS News, Washington.
Reports tonight that a group of New York financial institutions has submitted a $1 billion bid to buy financially strapped and strike-bound Eastern Airlines. The court-appointed examiner for Eastern told United Press International if the offer is accepted, Eastern owner Frank Lorenzo might be barred from selling off any assets, and that unspecified former Eastern assets must be returned to the company. He said the offer would give unions substantial say in Eastern's operations.
If they could see you now out on a friendship cruise, eating fancy food and doing what you choose, I'd like your friends back home to get a good look at the first-rate carnival cruise that you took. All I can say is, wow, hey, look at where you are. What a friendship, holy cow. They'd never believe it if your friends could see you now.
Take a 3, 4, or 7-day cruise on Carnival, the most popular cruise line in the world.
When people count on you, count on Post-it brand notes.
Good friends and good food, but my stomach aches. My party, and my Lanta too.
Double strength Mylanta 2 with nearly double the acid neutralizing power of any leading regular strength brand.
Because my life takes my Lanta too.
Long ago, the world was introduced to a vehicle that could travel in bad weather and hold plenty of cargo.
This year, history repeats itself. The new four-wheel drive Subaru Legacy wagon.
Tonight, the second of two special reports by CBS News correspondent Bob McNamara on pesticides, chemicals that have helped put plenty of food on America's tables and given Americans plenty of worry about long-term health effects. McNamara focuses tonight on a case in point from California, where some growers are now backing off pesticide use and where some pesticides are threatening a city's water supply.
In a California plum orchard, the first small steps in trying to undo the damage toxic pesticides have done. They are ladybugs, let loose to eat crop-killing aphids, an organic farmer's answer to protecting fruit without chemicals. The little bugs back on a job that pesticides did for years.
This is a case of doing what's right. Can we raise these fruits in a healthy way, in a way that doesn't pollute? Yes, we can.
Paul Buxman has to be optimistic. 6 years ago, about the time his son developed leukemia, Buxman learned his orchard's groundwater was contaminated by the cancer-causing pesticide DBCP. And though the chemical was banned in 1979, the extent of its contamination is still being calculated. A cancer study is underway in the area.
The child that is next to me on this side had back cancer that was inoperable, and he is suffering today. The neighbor to the right of me has brain cancer. He's a young man about my age. We've had 2 other children within 7-mile radius contract leukemia. One has died, and the other is undergoing treatments right now.
In Fresno, 20 miles away, the same pesticide has made its way into the city water system, and 10 wells supplying water to the southeastern part of the city have been shut off.
We've broken through a wall of denial and come to terms with the reality of how fragile our environment is and how important it is to protect it.
Experts say the toxic contamination of the water could last well into the next century. Fresno's water director has said city wells will, in his words, have to be tested forever. And the Environmental Protection Agency's water specialist was gloomier still.
I wouldn't live in Fresno.
Why not?
For all the reasons we talked about.
The water.
Yeah.
Yet most farmers say growing fruit organically is a starry-eyed idea, that abundant harvests are the result of pesticides, that chemicals enhance the colors and shapes consumers expect.
What your consumers want, that's what we have to give them. We're told constantly consumers right, customers are right.
We have a natural ecological balance of good bugs, bad bugs, and we have a natural fertility program that's occurring. I'm hoping for a great, pure plum out of this orchard, and I think it's going to happen.
Paul Buxman is not one of many, he's one of a few, but to those few, Dan, it's better to live with the bugs than to live under a cloud of pesticides.
Bob McNamara, thank you, but how common is this contamination problem?
Well, nowhere is the problem as concentrated as it is in Central California, but today pesticides have contaminated the groundwater in 38 states and fouled almost half of America's drinking water.
Okay, Bob, thanks. Federal agents and police today arrested 6 people at a Washington, D.C. motel after confiscating a batch of weapons and a Nazi flag. Police did not know why the suspects gathered at the motel with a grenade launcher, 3 machine guns, 4 rifles, 5 handguns, and other weapons. 6 children found in the motel rooms were taken into protective custody. 5 of those arrested gave Texas addresses. The 6th is from Washington. There were reports late today, reports that the group may be linked to the Paraguayan embassy. The embassy flatly denies that.
Pain that throbs, aches, pain that pulses. Remember, there is a wonder drug for pain like this. The wonder drug doctors themselves take more often for pain. The wonder drug doctors take more than extra strength Tylenol, more than Advil. More doctors take Bayer for pain. Bayer is the wonder drug that works wonders.
The old gray Subaru ain't what she used to be.
Introducing the larger, more powerful Subaru Legacy.
Got a nice minty taste to it.
That's good.
Can you say that about your liquid antacid? If not, taste new Tums Liquid.
It has a nice taste to it. It's delicious. Tums tastes the best.
New Tums Liquid. It works, and it really tastes good.
Color Tile introduces Color Carpet. Discover over 1,000 beautiful colors and get introductory savings on all DuPont Stainmaster Carpet, starting at just $8.99. See the beautiful colors of new Color Carpet, only at Color Tile.
The Mobil Corporation, largest remaining U.S. company in South Africa, announced today it is getting out. The oil company said it will sell off its operations to a South African firm. The reason, an anti-apartheid tax amendment passed by the U.S. Congress, under which companies can no longer deduct taxes paid to South Africa from their U.S. tax bill. The chairman of Mobil said that it was a difficult decision. He said the company still believes its presence was good for non-white people in South Africa. Next door to South Africa, in Mozambique, foreign investors have long since fled, and that country is in the grip of famine, war, and death. CBS News correspondent Richard Wagner went to Mozambique for this report.
Armina is 18 years old. She weighs less than 60 pounds. Slowly, cruelly, she's dying of malnutrition. There are hundreds of thousands of Arminas in Mozambique. International assistance agencies are requesting $400 million worth of aid for this country. It will not be sufficient.
Resources that we have at our disposal are not enough to reach everyone. It's as simple as that.
As bad as the situation is here, it's getting even worse. In the last year, more than 1 million people have been added to the mounting number of Mozambicans totally dependent on foreign assistance for food.
That dependence is due in large part to the civil war, which has been going on here for a dozen years. Rebels opposed to Mozambique's Marxist government have been constantly on the attack. Rural warehouses stockpiling food are favorite targets.
It knocks out the government's ability to have any kind of normal economic activity here. It also restricts the supplies of food to the urban centers.
In some provinces in Mozambique, everyone is hungry, rebels as well as refugees. When food is distributed, the guerrillas often raid the camps and force the people to help them steal it.
They also take these children, many as small as this one here, to carry as many as 50 kilos on their heads.
As in all civil wars, most of the casualties are non-combatants. Fighting and starvation have killed more than 600,000 Mozambicans this decade.
People are dying every day due to war-related causes.
Mozambique is but one of several African countries gripped by catastrophe, but that fact does not lessen the enormity of what is happening here. Even a mother's love will not sustain a child who has nothing to eat. Richard Wagner, CBS News, Namahaka, Mozambique.
The Roman Catholic Church is growing faster in Africa than any other continent, and today Pope John Paul began his 5th tour of Africa, arriving on the island nation of Madagascar. The 9-day trip will also take him to Zambia and Malawi.
What do you take for diarrhea? The old standby. If you're like most people, lots and lots of the old standby. Well, now there's something more advanced. Imodium AD, with a medicine now available without a prescription. So Imodium AD can often stop diarrhea with just one dose, instead of all the spoonfuls you may need of the leading remedy. One dose of Imodium AD. It can make your first attack of diarrhea your last.
Ready?
In a minute, honey.
It's nice to be noticed for what you wear and how you look. And if you wear dentures, it's nice to know Efferdent freshens up dentures and cleans away stains so well. With Efferdent, all they'll notice is you.
Thank goodness today's Friday. What a week. My boss gave me headaches not 1 day, but 2, so I took aspirin 2 days.
If you take aspirin often, make it tri-buffered Bufferin. 100% aspirin, plus 3 buffers. Bufferin, if you take aspirin more than once a week.
Whether your taste is for rich, satisfying decaf
Or if extra smooth Mountain Blend decaffeinated is the way to start your day, when you've found a naturally decaffeinated blend that tastes your way.
It's necessarily Nescafe.
Rich decaf or Mountain Blend decaffeinated. Only Nescafe gives you this choice.
Great coffee blends to taste your way. That's necessarily Nescafe.
We want to end this week with a reminder of the strengths and beauty we gain as a nation of immigrants. Our Constitution and other laws, our language, our customs, our arts are all rooted in other lands, but shaped here into something distinctly American. David Browning found new proof of that in full flower in Washington State.
The list of truly astonishing sights in America would surely include dawn in Alaska, New England in the fall, the Southwest at sunset. And you can add to that list spring in the Skagit Valley of Washington State, where every April the tulips bloom.
I want you to meet a real Dutchman here, Bill Roosen.
The tulip king hereabouts is Bill Roosen, who came from Holland after the war with his young wife, Helen.
So when he said to me, would you like to go with me to America, all I could think about was New York, Hollywood.
And of course, she may have thought that she wanted to be in a big city, but you can't grow anything there.
So they settled in the shadow of the Cascade Mountains, where the rain and the earth and the climate produce flowers and bulbs to rival those back in Holland. And the Roosens built themselves the biggest flower farm in the valley.
The drawing cards are the fields. The 500 acres of tulips that are around. There's no other place in the United States where you can go and find those.
That's true. Each spring, so many people come to see the Roosens' tulips, the traffic sometimes backs up 10 miles to the interstate. Tulip trekkers, they call them.
I should think you probably see as great a variety here as you would in Holland. These people really seem to know what they're doing.
They do. And if there was ever such a thing as a modern family farm, this is it. Most of the Roosens' 10 children are involved one way or another. William supervises the fields and the picking. Michael does distribution and paperwork. John runs the equipment from tractors to computers. Bernadette runs the gift shop. Richard minds the warehouse and the packing. And Leo checks the greenhouses and oversees the whole thing.
The computer in there controls the mixing of the hot and cold water.
Our kids, when they were younger, they all worked. They started on their knees digging, and all the dirty jobs they have done, they all decided, out of their own free will, they wanted to be a bulb grower.
And as showy as the flowers are, it's the tulip bulbs that are the prizes, collected and stored in dark temperature-controlled rooms for shipment to gardeners far and wide.
Ooh, look at that.
But in the spring sunlight, it's the flowers that still amaze, even if, like William Roosen, you've seen the sight every year of your life.
They're kind of special to us.
And they stand, too, the tulips, as a reminder of what a family, pulling together, can accomplish.
It is an adventure, but we enjoy doing it.
Yeah. And in a
We
way,
worked hard and didn't bother us.
It gives you a certain sense of accomplishment. And then sometimes you sit down and you say, how could it have been if I really would have tried? In this great country, there is really no end to what you can do.
And that's the CBS Evening News. Dan Rather. Bob Schieffer will bring you the news tomorrow. Connie Chung will be here on Sunday just before 60 Minutes. I'll see you Monday. Good night.
This is CBS.